Welcome back once again to the You Should Get a License podcast edition. This is Rod Powell, and you are here, your number one source for information, education, inspiration on definitely the most underrated career opportunity available today, and that is in the insurance industry. Very excited about the gentleman who we get to chat with today. He is a 20-year veteran of this industry and has really worked in a myriad of different roles and company experiences as well. But what I really am impressed by is not only has he been successful in this business, he's also been instrumental in helping others become successful in this business as well, and is operated in routes that we don't conventionally think about with insurance. Typically, you think about, the insurance agent, that is your individual agent coming to your house, or you think about the person that's doing your auto and your homeowners. But he's been able to navigate the corporate world of insurance from a sales and operational capacity. And I'm excited to have him on all the way live and direct from Central Virginia, Mr. Harvey Chambers. Harvey, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Great. I'm doing wonderful, Rod. And thank you so much for that introduction. I'm humbled and excited at the same time about the opportunities that are available for those individuals who are licensed in the insurance industry. And, as we get into our conversation, hopefully we'll be able to help someone navigate through the industry and find their place and their niche, and be able to not only have a rewarding career, but help others in the process.
That's it, man. I mean, that's really what it's all about. There are so many different ways that you can go. And, on this platform, what we really like to speak to is, hey, look, there's more than one road that can be traveled, in this industry and in this business for someone who's getting started. So, and even to get started, maybe they think there's only one way, and that's what has held them back from getting started. So I wanted to ask, the first question I always like to ask is, market segmentation. Over the course of your career, I know that you've done a ton of different things, but what do you find has been, or what would you consider to be your specialty, your niche, where you found your stride in this business?
Well, I think that's a great question. I really found my niche in managed care organizations selling health, and then some like products and some ancillary products. So I found my niche there. It's been very rewarding. If I look over the total time of my career being licensed, I would say about 80% of it was in the health insurance industry.
80%. Wow. Okay. Now, I want to go back. I'm going to ask you how you kind of get started into the business. Although I know that it was, you took the class and the instructor told you to go take a test immediately. But I want to go back even further than that. Okay. I want to go all the way back to where you're from. And when you were young and you were growing up, what was your dream occupation? What did you dream of being when you reached adulthood?
Oh, wow. So my dream occupation was actually being a journalist. I was an Ed Bradley follower,
Yes.
and from 60 Minutes. He was my mentor when I was a little boy. I wanted to be a broadcaster just like Ed Bradley. So I followed that track to Virginia Commonwealth University here in Richmond. I got my BS degree in mass communications with the broadcast news concentration, and was still able to utilize that even in the insurance industry. So as I was going through my career path, insurance presented. And so as a sales and marketing person, I utilize my mass communication skills on a daily basis when I'm interacting with clients, customers, and members of our insurance plan.
Absolutely. So, you went all the way, through school, focusing on mass comm, and journalism. So still in that space, I always find it interesting that, whenever you come from a creative background, it's typically an easy transition into this business because you are so heavily focused on communication, with
Yes.
people. Have you found that to be the same, or did you find that when you were transitioning into the insurance industry?
Yeah, communication is really the key. And that's whether it's a one-on-one where you're building a relationship with your client or your customers, but also with you're working individually with your team. And so it's really the focal point of anything that happens in any space is that having that communication skill. It helps you with networking, building relationships. So communication is definitely the key.
Yeah, yeah. Now you're from Halifax, Virginia.
That's correct. Yes.
Halifax. Okay. And Halifax is on, Halifax is south. That's down by like Emporia area, Rocky Mount.
Well, actually, there is a Halifax, North Carolina, which a lot of individuals are used to if they're traveling 85 and 95. But then there's also Halifax, Virginia, which is on the North Carolina border, about 20 miles from Roxborough, North Carolina. And so that's where some people have referred to it as Mayberry, a small town, one traffic light.
Okay.
So yeah, that's where I grew up.
Tell me, what was insurance like in Halifax? Like, did you get exposure to the business down there?
I did. It's really interesting. My parents had Virginia Farm Bureau insurance.
Okay.
They covered our auto and our homeowners. And I remember sometimes I would ride with my father to the Farm Bureau office to pay that premium. And they would pay that, of course, on a monthly basis or so. But I remember going to that Farm Bureau office with my father as a little boy to pay that bill.
Nice, nice. Did you ever see the agent in the office and say, yeah, I can see myself doing that?
Well, actually, we had to stay in the car. So,
stay in the car.
So you didn't get out of the car. You stayed in the car, and you better behave yourself. And don't let me come out here and find you were doing anything. So we stayed in the car. But I will tell you, when you talk about, this whole journey into insurance, when we grow up or when we're growing up as children, people always ask, well, what do you want to be when you grow up? And so as we're kind of navigating that in a younger age, we're kind of encouraged to make a decision, put a stake in the ground and say, hey, when I grow up, I want to be a doctor, or in my case, when I grow up, I want to be a journalist, or when I grow up, I want to be a teacher, and those kinds of things. And what happens in that process is that usually when individuals go off, to college or in adulthood, they really are able to find out that, what I thought I wanted to do as a child, and now that I've gotten into this degree program, this is really not what I feel like I want to do. And so, I think it is that thing of considering the other options that are out there and giving people permission to explore. And you don't hear a lot, as you're growing up, people encouraging you to go into the insurance industry from an educational standpoint. So I don't see that there are many tracks, in high school or in college, that kind of point you in that way, specifically to insurance. So, I kind of landed in insurance through my career working again in the health insurance industry. I was a customer service rep. And in order to track to the sales position, I had to get licensed. And so I became licensed. I think I was about 26 years old then. And so as a licensed agent in the sales department, that's really where I got introduced to insurance from that standpoint.
Nice. So take me through. You take me through that journey. You were working in healthcare. You were in the customer service, and you decided to get a license. And then what happened from there? So what was that role, and what was that next progression? Because like I said, you have a lot of different experiences to share.
So great. So in the managed care organizations, or health insurance, as some people refer to it, you have these sales and marketing positions that are required by the State Bureau of Insurance for those agents to be licensed. And so in order for me to move in my career track, sales and marketing in the health insurance industry was the area that I focused on. And so that then required me to be licensed in that. And then you sold ancillary products. So you would get your life and health license to, if you had a group insurance product that you were selling where you had a life insurance component to it. And then, of course, you would have ancillary products like dental and accident and things like that. So that really is what catapulted me to get my license. And then in order to move through the career path in sales and marketing, of course, you keep your license, but then you begin to go into management roles and interact at that level. And so there is a track and a career progression that you can take, even in the health insurance industry.
Yeah, yeah. So and for a time, you also had your PNC. So you're in the life space now, but you also had PNC for a while. Having experienced, both of those environments, PNC and the life and health, which one? I mean, obviously you're in life and health still, but what was it that made that side of the business stand out for you?
So yes, I do have my property and casualty a license along with my annuities. And so what has happened is that as I focused on life and health, one of the things that I did was to make myself marketable. I had an opportunity to also get my property and casualty and my annuities license. So it's one of those things where I just really want to make sure that, there are other avenues for me to progress career-wise, should I choose to go that route. So, and usually, the companies that you are working for will pay for you not only to take the class, but they will pay for your license and your appointment. And so if they're going to pay for you to take the class, pay for you to take the license, and then pay for you to be appointed with them, then that's a win-win, because really all you have to do is to study and take the test and go through that process.